Hey guys, it's Johnny Lane Outdoors again. Today I'm going to go through a jerky recipe. Just got that fallow, so I'm going to give it a crack, see how the jerky goes. This is the first time I'm trying this, so bear with me. It's definitely a beginner's attempt at jerky making. I've gone and bought myself a cheap dehydrator from Amazon. That's arrived yesterday. Got plenty of deer meat left in the freezer. I've just trimmed it up. I've put it back in the freezer to firm up a bit. And yeah, so it's going to be a bit of a rough attempt. I'm sure it'll taste fine at the end, and I think it's a great way to make use of the whole animal, which is always a good thing, and share it around with friends. Everyone loves a bit of jerky. I've had some friends keep asking me about when's the jerky coming out.
So here I am just making the quick marinade for the jerky. If you're making it yourself, I encourage you to experiment and find out what you like. So for the marinade for my recipe, I used equal parts Worcestershire and soy, and I added about a couple of tablespoons of garlic and onion powder, some mixed herbs, and some brown sugar. So now the marinade's done, I'm trimming up the venison. It's a part of the top side, which came from the back leg. Not too sure on the thickness I wanted to go at this stage. I got it at about 8 ml per slice, or I tried to, the best I could, get it about 8 ml per slice, with obviously the expectation that the dehydration process would shrink them to about 4 to 6 ml. That ended up happening, so I was happy with that. So yeah, that's about all there is to it. Slicing it up the best I could, adding it to the marinade, and then letting it sit in the marinade for a couple of hours. I know it's recommended that the marinade sits overnight, but I didn't have time that day to let that happen, and it still turned out okay, even with a couple of hours in the marinade. So now that the venison was all sliced up and added to the marinade, I've then transferred the venison and the marinade into a freezer bag, which is where it sat in the fridge for a few hours to marinate before I started to add it to the trays of the dehydrator. Like I'm doing here, I'm just trying the best I can to spread it out as evenly as possible. You want a little bit of a gap between each piece, but as long as they're not touching, that'll be fine, because they shrink away from each other when the dehydrator is working. So this dehydrator, I had 5 trays. This is obviously the first tray I'm stacking, and then you repeat the process for all 5 trays, and then you add it to the base and pop the dehydrator on. So here's the little dehydrator I got online. It's just the cheap one from Amazon, $30, had 5 trays. I thought it was a lot bigger, but as with all things you buy online, they always end up turning up a bit smaller than you think they are. It worked out really well though. I'm happy with how it worked. It had just a little temperature dial on the bottom. The lowest was 30 degrees, the highest was 70. With the venison, the instruction manual just said for me to put it on the highest temperature it could go to, which was 70, and it still took a while. It took about 10 hours to dehydrate.
So there you have it. The jerky's all finished. I've got another batch in the dehydrator already. So yeah, turned out really well. I took a dehydrator of jerky to work today, and it was a big hit. Everyone seemed to love it. Everyone was pretty excited that it was venison or deer or something that they wouldn't normally have. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Feedback on it was positive for both recipes, the spicy and the non-spicy. So yeah, I'm going to keep on tweaking the recipe to how I like it. I think it's fine how it is, but there's always room to experiment.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.